Good morning, everyone. All right, so give me 1 second. All right, hello, everyone. So today, I want to frame a run to the buy side liquidity after yesterday's run, and I don't really want to retrace too much. On the 4-hour chart, there's this big fair value gap. We shouldn't really fill that. We should kind of want to stay above. And so just sort of waiting for price to be in a discount. It was in a discount over here. There's also 9:45 news, so it doesn't show it, but there is pretty big news. 9:45 PMI, and it usually creates a little bit of volatility. And ISM PMI, which I had that written down as 9:45. 9:45 is a different one. So quite a bit of news. I'm not trading until 10 o'clock because of the news, so I'm going to just watch price right now and see what it wants to do. Looking at the hourly chart, you can see we've made a run lower beneath the overnight lows and overnight highs into this range. I think we're going to dig into that a little bit, but I'm not wanting to go lower yet. I just think after this big run, it might need to retrace a little bit, consolidate. So it's possible I don't get a setup. It's possible that it will just consolidate and it will just stay where it is all morning or chop around, seek and destroy. Alright, so I won't, but just because there's a whole lot of news, I think it should give me a setup. Also, let me check what the news releases were. I don't know why it's. We had unemployment, jobless claims. Wow. So they actually went up a lot. Or further continuing at least. We had 8:15, 80 p.m. employment. Okay. All right. Well, dollar is absolutely crashing. I saw that this morning. It's going lower, which is unusual because if anyone tracks the UJ, the yen, get off my daily chart. Right, the yen is rising very quickly. I mean, this is the yen, the US dollar priced in yen. So if you actually price in US dollars, well, it's actually falling. The currency is failing. It's going down very quickly. The reason being is because, well, actually, I'm not going to talk about the reasons why, but just something that you need to keep in mind is that these guys have a whole lot of U.S. treasuries. In fact, they're the country, the biggest country, no, sorry, the country that holds the most U.S. dollar debt, right, in their bonds, in their treasuries. They hold a lot of U.S. treasuries and they import a lot of energy. So if their currency is devalued enough to the point where the central bank is forced to sell all of their treasuries, all their bonds, so that they can get more liquidity, they're going to have to take losses on those bonds because the interest rates are elevated. And so they'll have to take losses on their bonds, which could cause a chain of reaction throughout the whole global banking system among central banks in the world. They could all fail, basically, is the situation. This is what happens when the Federal Reserve keeps their rates higher for too long. And the thing is, they can't go lower. They just can't. So we could, like, this summer could be insanely volatile. It could be insanely impactful because we have certain dynamics in the global banking system that will cause basically the forex market to, I don't know if it's gonna die, but it's going to be heavy. It might die. Like, it's gonna be heavily affected. If all the central banks in the world are go bust because the yen failed, I mean, it could be bad. So dollar might be heading lower right now to kind of make a run on sell side. That's what I kind of expect, or maybe a small retracement before running higher. There's a weekly fair value gap down here, and there's also gold, which is starting a small run up again. Oh, silver. And this morning, I was looking at the Dow, and I noticed that the Dow was failing to make that low beneath Asia, while the Nasdaq did. And so now that Dow made the higher high, it's possible that we get the Nasdaq going lower, right? Because the Dow, I don't like it how we made the higher high, and the Nasdaq did not. This would lead me to believe that, okay, we could actually be going lower. Right, since you had the Dow fail to make the lower low, yeah, the Nasdaq make the lower low. All of a sudden now, I don't really like it when the Nasdaq is leading. So if we're gonna go higher and the Dow is leading, I don't really like the Nasdaq to follow the Dow. I want the other markets to follow the Nasdaq. So if the Nasdaq's failing to make the lower low, the stronger market can't make the higher high. Sorry, if the Nasdaq, the stronger market, can't make the higher high, then it would eventually bring the Dow lower, which would just show that Nasdaq is starting to accelerate lower, which is what I want to see today. Unless we quickly make that higher high here and we catch up to the Dow and run to the buy side liquidity. But it's possible that we see a retracement, and only during, we could be waiting until NFP to run up here to the buy side liquidity. But yeah, I can see a retracement inside this gap. So I'll be highlighting the 50% of the hourly gap. Put that there. Whoa, what the heck? It opened all the way up here. That's weird. Alright, see how this gap works. It could be a big volume imbalance if it comes all the way back up and runs towards that buy side. I just don't like how the Dow is just lower. That's the only thing I don't like, how the Dow is lower. It could actually come into here and drop. So it's hard for me to frame lower prices because the Dow is already lower and we're so close to that buy side up here. I wouldn't be taking this with confidence. I'd like to see maybe this work as an inverse, and we could see a quick run up to these highs. I'm not taking that, obviously, because we're above the midnight open and we've already kind of chopped around and not chopped around, but we've taken the low and the high already with this initial swing lower and then a swing high. So even though this could be like a Judas swing, because we've driven lower here and made a low, that's pretty spaced out. This being a Judas swing, maybe less. It's kind of like yesterday. 9:30 opened up, drew higher. It didn't make a Judas swing. It just continued to go higher, right? Well, it's like the same thing here. It did that because it already took that liquidity already ahead of 9:30, and then I saw the order block be created, and it created an institutional order flow entry drill and continued to run higher. And it consolidated, retraced a little bit, chopped around, made another move lower, pretended like it was shifting market structure, and continued to go higher. So I kind of see the same thing maybe occurring here, the same scenario. It could be just playing around. There's this 5 minute, like if you ignore the big wick, there's this 5 minute low there, like drop beneath, and now could be using that as an inverse to trade higher. I just want to see it get through that 5 minute gap. It could retrace a little bit and act as short-term resistance. Doesn't have to be nice and quick, but yeah, it's just what I want to see right now. I'm framing a run higher. This 5-minute candle is going to close. We'll see if we get lower prices now, or if it's going to continue to run away. It shouldn't really want to retrace here if it's going to continue going higher. We might see a deep retracement around lunch or something, and then we could. The Dow is terrible. What the heck?